Good morning. Well, as all of you know, this past week, the big story was the Ocean Gate submarine, the Titan, that was lost for 5 days. And then suddenly we realized at the end that it had likely suffered a catastrophic implosion only 2 hours into its journey. What ultimately seemed to be the problem was these 5 souls who were lost were in a vessel that wasn't designed to handle the pressure that they were going to experience. And as a result, they were destroyed. I started thinking as this story unfolded about the impact of pressure on all of us. Not necessarily the physical pressure of going deep into the ocean, but the psychological pressure that we face from jobs or family issues or health issues or many other things. Pressure that weighs us down. The Bible speaks about that pressure. The Apostle Paul, in particular, is one who seemed to understand that well. When he was writing 2 Corinthians, he opens it up in the first chapter by saying, "We don't want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about the troubles that we experienced in the province of Asia. We were under great pressure, far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt that we had received the sentence of death." There's probably some of you out there who can relate to that sentiment, feeling so much pressure that you feel like you might have even received the sentence of death. He goes on in chapter 4 to explain a little bit more. He says, "We're hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair, persecuted, but not abandoned, struck down, but not destroyed." How was it that he could feel such pressure, such intense pressure that he even thought his life was in danger, and yet at the end say, "I'm not crushed, I'm not in despair, I'm not destroyed"? Well, he gives us the answer. Back in chapter 1, he says, all of this happened so that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God, who raises the dead. We experience pressures in life so that we learn that on our own, our vessel isn't built to withstand those pressures. We need the protection of God. Again, in chapter 4, he gives us even more about that protection. He says, "We have this treasure in jars of clay to show that this all-surpassing power is from God and not from us." David was another one who felt tremendous pressure over the course of time from Saul, from his enemies that were attacking Israel. And he wrote a psalm, Psalm 55, where he said, "Give ear to my prayer, O God, and do not hide yourself from my supplication. Give heed to me and answer me. I'm restless in my complaint, and I'm surely distracted because of the voice of the enemy, because of the pressure of the wicked. For they bring down trouble upon me, and in anger they bear a grudge against me. My heart is in anguish within me, and the terrors of death have fallen upon me." Seems kind of familiar to exactly what Paul was feeling and what he was experiencing. But David goes to a similar place that Paul did. He says, "As for me, I shall call upon God, and the Lord will save me. Evening and morning and at noon I will complain and murmur, and he will hear my voice. He will redeem my soul in peace from the battle which is against me." We are not promised that we will be protected from pressures in life. We will face them. But what we are promised is that God will form the barrier if we rely on him, and he will save us from those pressures. Not only that, he will give us peace. I pray that this week will be a week of peace for you. Have a great week.